Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Nathan Ragland, and welcome back to Amateur April, the month where I emphasize smaller artists and give them the platform they deserve. With these next guests, well, good grief, don't underestimate them just because they're a young channel. Today we have Alex Foster and Richard Williamson, the dynamic duo behind the Anime Egotists, a rising YouTube channel giving some unique takes on your favorite animes. Look, these two are close friends of mine, so this was a fun chat for us, and I hope you enjoyed just as much as we did. If you do, please support them on their YouTube channel in the link below. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe on whatever platform you prefer, buy the merch in the link below to support me, and follow on Twitter at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast.
That's why we normally use Zoom.
Oh, you guys are using Zoom now, gotcha.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ever since we learned that Skype, there's no way to fix Skype, we're just like, let's just use Zoom until something better comes along.
Okay. I assume you're the one. Sorry, Alex, are you the one?
Yeah, it's still like super effective. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I assume you're the one that you bought the upgraded package or whatnot, or.
Yeah, sort of. It's kind of a thing. They were doing a promotion like, hey, you want this for a bit? And I'm like, sure. I have to start paying for it? Eventually, yes. I'm like, well, best case scenario, we start using a lot. Worst case scenario, well, it doesn't charge if it's just two people talking for longer than 40 minutes, and it's only just me and Richard, so it's fine.
Fair enough. I mean, I use Discord because it's free, and I figured out how to record, so that's, that whole entire issue. What was I going to say?
Your camera looks better, Richard. It actually looks better now.
Yeah, there we go.
It might have been because the movement of my fan was so in focus for some reason.
There we go.
Maybe.
That may have been it. What was I going to say? No, it's one of those, actually, surprisingly enough, I actually got interviewed for a different podcast recently. And we use Zoom to record there, so, and he only had, like, the standard one because he uses it for school. So it's one of those, we recorded for, like, 30, 35 minutes, but it kicked us out after 45.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean,
normally if it's two people, it's just record as long as you want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, he was recording on his end, so that's all on him. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I was about to say he don't have anything to worry about unless he says, "Hey, can you do it again?" And I'll be like, "I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can replicate that."
Replicate? No. But I mean, he was cool enough. I'd be down to talk with him again. Hot Tub Thoughts, if you guys are interested. I think the episode should be premiering this Sunday, April 11th. So.
I thought you were about to say, "Wait, Hot Tub Thoughts," and then just throw a random question to us. I'm just like, what?
Well, I was thinking that it's just Nathan and this guy sitting in an actual hot tub talking.
I wish.
That would be a great podcast. I mean, granted, you'd have to be careful about the equipment and everything, but you just it's a way to make things.
I'm sure if the guy wants to stick up with it, the guy's name is Brian, but if he wants to stick with it and like make it an actual thing, I could totally see him like legitimately doing this in a hot tub. Though I think the biggest issue would be trying to decipher the audio from the person from the audio of the hot tub, you know?
Maybe.
Don't turn the jets on.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of bubbles, but like nothing crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we could just do a ripoff on RJ City makes coffee in his underwear and just do that.
Yeah, there you go. Just a whole entire, fuck it, we'll do it live.
And I'm just like, I'm wearing my boxers this week. It's the same thing every week.
I'm wearing my swim trunks I got once from Sears or whatnot.
And just like
nude.
And just like RJ, we'll sing. If you give us $5, we'll sing us any song you want. Even if we don't know it, we'll just make it up. We'll just make it up as we go.
For $5, we'll sing any song, but it's only the YMCA.
Good Lord. Why that specific song?
It's a reference to Married with Children. They had like a Halloween episode, something like that, to where they had the village people and like for the music, like people that dress up as the village people, but the only song they knew was the YMCA, and that's all they sang the entire night.
I mean, I don't know any other Village People song by comparison, so.
Exactly. I wonder if they're considered one-hit wonders, or if they got like hits elsewhere that we just don't know about.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Richard's on the case.
I was about to say, did you find something, boy?
Let's see.
All right, Richard.
So there are currently 5 active members,
Well, yeah,
but there's like 20 people who were previously village people.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, those reunions and the just the name recognition of village people. You want to be a part of that one way or another. Get that cash.
All right, Richard. I just want to confirm something for this recording.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be doing most of the talking for us?
Probably.
Shit, man, come on.
I mean, I'm here. I'll answer questions.
I'm going to make sure that a lot of the how the channel got started stuff, Alex, you're probably gonna be the one answering most of it. But when it comes to like the actual content and such, I figured Richard would be able to have a good say in it, especially when it comes to certain videos or certain aspects of anime that you guys appreciate or whatnot. I'm going to try to make this as equal as possible. So.
Oddly enough, it wasn't even just me and Richard. That actually, no, we'll get to that later. There's no point in spoiling it now, but yeah.
Right.
I was about to say, do we have to wear pants for this episode? Because
I mean, unless you're
gonna
whatever is on screen, I would prefer to be some form of clothing. So if I can't see your pants, I won't ask if you're wearing pants. But for shirts, I mean, come on, common decency.
I feel like that should be a catchphrase. If I can't see whatever you said, if I can't see your pants, I won't ask if you're wearing pants. Like, that needs to be a slogan somewhere.
It's a good mantra to live by, though.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you know what, Richard? I can't deny that. If I can't see your pants, I won't ask about your pants.
Just a heads up, I'm gonna be a little on the sassy side sometimes when we answer these questions. Just to kind of confirm to people, yeah, guys, it's okay. We've known each other for like years at this point. This is how we are.
Wait, there's a time when you're not sassy?
Fair enough.
Yeah, he wanted to kick me off our own podcast because I said something he disagreed with.
Hey. To be fair, I was trying to move. I remember this because I made a joke about something we're going to cover, and you seemed very against it. And I tried to say, you know what? Let's move on. And before I could even finish the "let's move on" part, you're like, no, let's cover this other thing first. And that's when I got upset. That's when I got furious with you. I'm like, okay, time to find somebody else. It's similar to the time where Nathan, Jenny, and I were in a class together. I insulted Nathan. Jenny rolled her eyes at me and complained. I'm like, oh, so I was talking to Nathan, but now I hate you. Let's do this. Let's tussle.
So that's why you hate her.
No. It's a lot more deeper than stuff.
Yeah, let's tussle right in the middle of the first day of class in media law and ethics. Let's do this.
I was trying to remember what the name of that class was, but yeah, that's what it was.
In all seriousness, that was a fun class. I did enjoy that class. Just everything, just learning everything. Like it was one of the few classes I enjoyed. Anyways, I am ready.
Yes. All right, Anime Egotists. Before we get started, I must ask the icebreaker question I ask for every single podcast. What is your most unpopular art opinion?
Let art be weird.
Art being weird, okay.
Just let it. No, I'm saying just let it happen. Because it's difficult to explain this because I like different types of things in art, whether it's serious, goofy, just whatever the types of thing. But I find that a lot of people who make art, and it's good art. It's better than anything I could ever come up with. Mm-hmm. But it's the thing. The thing for me is everybody takes it seriously, which I'm perfectly fine with. But there's some goofy stuff out there. Like previous guests on your podcast, I'd like to say that I've talked to, I've always said, hey, can you draw these characters for me? These Pokemon characters for me? They're like, yeah, sure, awesome. I'm like, okay, can you draw them as members of wrestling factions? And they're just like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do that. And I'm just like, I get more people to be like this. It's just nice. It's nice to see some weirdness in art.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that one. You're talking about Lil Hypno, right?
Little Hypno, Matt McKnight, any future guests you have that I end up telling you while rolling my eyes, just them, all those people.
Okay, so your opinion is just let art be weird. Richard, do you have an opinion, art opinion that you'd like to express?
Studying art as like an actual study is kind of not smart because art is in the eye of the beholder. You can't really interpret it as for everybody. You have to interpret it for yourself, and so studying it doesn't really, in my opinion, make sense.
Well, what did you major in?
Business.
Fair enough.
No, I was gonna say like even like the way that you're putting it, I get where you're coming from. It's kind of one of those art is correct me if I'm wrong. Art's more interpretive. Like for everyone like sees a different thing. So it's one of those you're saying when it comes to studying it, you shouldn't. At least the people that are studying art, you shouldn't take their word as gospel because again, art is interpretive. Everyone has their own opinion on what it should be.
Yeah, if you are trying to tell everybody that this is what this painting means, it's like when your English teacher tried to explain how every little detail in the thing meant something. No, it doesn't. The author wrote it, so in this case, the artist drew something, and this is they have their interpretation. You have yours. It's art is in the eye of the beholder, and that's very much true.
If that's the case, I deserve so many A's from high school. So many of those teachers just man, not the time or the place. I apologize.
But anyways, let art be weird, and art shouldn't be gospel. I guess should be the phrase. Are those hills you guys are willing to die on?
Bring it.
Bring it. I love your enthusiasm. With that, I can't think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to subscribe or follow on whatever YouTube or whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Merch is out right now, teespring.com/store/PMAP. And follow us on Twitter at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guests. This dynamic duo are the personalities behind the Anime Egotists, the only place you should go for some unique anime opinions from Pokemon, Naruto, Black Clover, and more. Welcome to the podcast, Alex Foster and Richard Williamson, the Anime Egotists. How you two doing today?
Doing good, man. I feel good about today. I don't know why, but I thought today was going to be a good day. Let's not ruin that. Let's be good.
I was gonna say, okay, lower the expectations a little. No, I'm joking. Thank you both for being here so much. I know we're close friends. For those who don't know, we've actually known each other since college, so we've got some history together. But at the same time, I really do appreciate you sitting down and being part of Amateur April. But before we really get started into what you guys create, let's go back a little bit. Let's get the origin stories of the Anime Egotists. What got you interested in art and anime in the first place?
Is this the one you said you want me to start with?
I mean, I want both of your guys' opinion because, I mean, obviously, anime, it's considered art, so I want to know what got you guys invested in the first place.
I'm going to be honest. It's not the craziest story or anything. I just remember one day, it was third grade, minding my own business, and a bunch of my friends were running around. I guess I thought they were hitting each other or something like that, and I had no idea what was going on. And they were just screaming stuff like Kamehameha and special bean cans and all that stuff. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, it's Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I had to sit alone at lunch for the next couple of days after that. But a friend of mine got me into it with one of the best games of all time, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Mm-hmm. That pretty much started my love, along with just watching random episodes of Pokemon, Naruto, and I'm just like, I like this more than most dramas on TV. I just enjoy this art form more than most other stuff. Nope, not a lot of people agree with me in that, but it's a hill I'm willing to die on, like we talked about.
Okay, what about you, Richard?
So mine started a little bit earlier with in probably kindergarten, first grade, watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and they were kind of... The interesting part about these series were that they told a continuous story. I mean, you could watch a single episode here and there of at least Pokemon, but at least with Yu-Gi-Oh, it told one story, so you had to kind of follow it in order to understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. And that got me interested because around that time, there really wasn't any other American cartoons that were doing that yet. It was, I mean, early 2000s, 2001, so not really anything out at that point. So something that told a continuous story was kind of interesting to me. So that's kind of got me started, and again moved into Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball, and then has developed into other shows as I've gotten older.
Yeah, not to mention, you talk about the early 2000s. One of the first, and this isn't an anime by any stretch of the imagination, but one of the few shows that actually had a continuous story from episode to episode in the early 2000s was Shaolin Showdown. So I think that I want to say that kind of led into it. Like, I was like, oh, I like this kind of continuing story format. I mean, there are episodes every now and then that you can just watch and be like, oh, like, just watch whenever you want. But there is a continuous story. I did like that. Shaolin Chronicles, not as much, but we don't have to talk about that here. This is a safe space.
This is a safe space. So I do want to say, is SpongeBob not a continuous story? I thought it. No, I'm joking.
I was about to say. I mean, Bubble Buddy's been in like what 3 episodes? Or,
yeah, no? yeah, it's been
15 years.
Yeah,
Probably.
Goodness. Anyway, so that's basically. That's the origin story of it. How about, when did it for you guys go from being just a love for it to a passion, and I'd say a hobby, but sort of the start of a career potentially when it comes to analyzing and understanding anime?
Do you want to go first on this one?
Sure. So, I really started watching the 13 episode animes and stuff. Probably freshman year of college. I'd watched maybe 1 or 2 previously, but that was when I first actually sat down and watched several of them. The main one I can remember is Stigma of the Wind. It's one about pretty much the world has magic, but there's a family that's supposed to be like the most powerful because they use fire magic, and then the eldest son is born with wind magic instead, and it's kind of weird. That's all I can really remember of it, but it's only like 13 episodes. So about probably sometime in college, early college, is when I really started getting into the smaller anime and more in depth with them.
Okay, Alex, what about you? When did it go from just like a love for general anime to like wanting to like really dive deep into it and make it something you want to do, at least online?
Okay, so backing up just a little bit, because in middle school, my mom would always get me like Shonen Jump, like we'd always have subscriptions for it and everything. Mm-hmm. There's about 20 or 30 on my shelf right now, which are pretty much gathering dust and sadly aren't even in any particular order. But I always just enjoyed it from that stance. And high school, sadly, kind of started to die off because admittedly, I was kind of in that phase of, nobody else I know really likes this stuff anymore. Kind of like my love with wrestling. Like, nobody really likes this stuff anymore. Maybe I should just try and be cool and get along. And then towards like the end of high school, beginning of college, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Good. I don't care what other people think. I'm going to like this stuff anyway. And that's kind of when I started experimenting with other stuff. Got back into Naruto, Dragon Ball a bit, Pokemon especially, and some other stuff, and admittedly some guilty pleasure anime that I'm sure we'll get into at some point. But I don't know. I guess just being surrounded by people who actually cared about it did help, but more important, just realizing I don't care. I'm going to like this stuff regardless. I wasn't cool in the first place. Let's not act like I was.
You're cool in my eyes, okay?
I'm not sure that helps. I really don't think that helps, but sure.
I was gonna say, as someone that wears glasses, you should definitely take that lightly.
Oh goodness.
So let's jump to what you guys actually create. What exactly inspired the channel Anime Egotists to be created?
Is it weird that I actually remember this day almost to the point?
You can go ahead and talk about it.
All right. So I remember it was me, Richard, and a friend of ours named Reese, who has been on our channel before, like twice, I want to say, maybe 2, maybe 3 times. Either way, we were all sort of just talking about like different anime series, like what we like, what we don't like, and it was just a long conversation after we were done at a wrestling event. We were kind of just thinking, there's a lot of stuff we like and dislike about anime, but we kind of liked this conversation because we were just talking about, I don't like when this trope happens. I don't like this character in this particular show. And we all kind of thought to ourselves, you know what? It'd be kind of cool if we could talk about something like this and like actually put it out there. just want to start a channel, and we're all just kind of like, yeah, all right, let's do it. I'm like, all right, and we just sort of sat in silence for the next 5 minutes as we kept driving.
Goodness. Yeah. I'm trying to remember which event was that one, or which day was that one?
I don't think you were with us. I think we tried inviting you, but you had other stuff to do.
Okay, because I thought this was on the way back from like a wrestling event or like one of the NXT live events.
This was during the summer, I want to say.
Okay.
1 year. I remember what.
Okay, yes, I remember this. It was in Columbus.
Yeah, that was when like the 2 or 3 of us had like the meat mountain for the first time, and there were no regrets.
Ah, yes, the meat mountain. What started as a meme is now people saying, "God, why is commercialism doing this?"
I was about to say, yeah, let's hope my parents never listen to this because I probably shouldn't be eating that.
Oh, they'll probably listen to it. No, so
just to give a little bit more though about the founding of the channel. We were roommates, of course, in college, all of us, and we actually started this with the idea that we were going to do some sketches, and we did one, and then we graduated, and we couldn't
which
really
I
do
will
anymore.
talk in depth about. Don't worry, I will.
That's going to be fun to talk about.
It's going to be hilarious to talk about.
Yeah, not to mention the Anime Egotists was not our original name, was it?
Right. What was it? I was trying to remember it like before we got started. Do you remember?
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you asking because you legitimately can't remember, or are you asking because you want me to say it?
No, I legitimately cannot remember.
Okay, so just to clarify, since we are all wrestling fans to an extent, and we like SmackDown. We like the show Friday Night SmackDown. So we title ourselves I don't want to say it.
Say it.
Smackin' Heroes.
Smackin' Heroes?
Not Smackin' Heroes podcast. Not the Smackin', like just Smackin' Heroes. It's just like, I don't know. It was one of those things where we kind of came up with it. Like we came up with the name in like 2 minutes, and we were like, yeah, that sounds fine. And then as the months went by, we're like, this was a mistake.
And our original logo was a zoomed-in picture of of Kid Goku's face from the original series.
Yeah, and it's just of this giant mouth open.
I totally forgot about that, like legitimately. But honestly, like there have been worse names for stuff out there. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah. Most of it being our stuff, but anyways.
What was the vision that you guys had in mind when you guys were developing this channel and wanted to see it grow? Like, what was and what still is the vision of what you guys are hoping for?
I guess I'll go ahead and start. Originally, we were thinking of doing skits mostly, at least to start. We had some fun, and we wanted to do that, and unfortunately, I graduated a little bit earlier than expected, so we didn't get a chance to do any more. Then, well, I say unfortunately, I did graduate early. So that was the good news for me, I guess. But then it has changed, of course. We've done a lot more where we analyze and talk about what we like, what we don't like. I mean, that's kind of what we've become specialized in. We have plans to go back to the skits eventually, but we're still working on figuring out how to get the right format for that.
Well, not to mention also we're just trying to stay as far apart as possible because people are still getting sick out there. I don't want to risk it until I'm like completely safe.
Yeah, no, trust me. As someone that actually had to deal with that stuff, it's definitely smart that you're not, going for that stuff and being patient. And people should be as well patient. Like even with the vaccine finally getting to the general masses and stuff, I still think we still need to keep our distance. We still need masks, but I need to get that from my soapbox because that's not the time for that. What if I may ask? I know that's kind of the vision you guys have. What sort of other YouTube channels or other inspirations do you have for this? Like what inspires you when it comes to making a video?
Okay, is it weird that a lot of my inspirations aren't even necessarily anime related? There are a couple of anime, but it's like half and half anime and half non-anime people.
I mean, that's not weird. You can get inspiration from just about anything. So back to my question, what inspired you to make the videos that you do?
Well, one of the podcasts in particular for me was And I hope they listen to this because I'm actually saying something nice about them. The podcast Twit Wow, This Week in the World of Wrestling, with John and Ashton. Like, they are, there's something about them that's like they're really smart guys and they know what they're talking about with each thing. But there's also a little bit of comedic elements to them because every now and then they'll just start ripping on each other out of nowhere with inside jokes and everything. That's them in particular. Plus, they're two amazing dudes. They're like two of my best friends in the world. Oh, they're great. Please check them out. Another podcast in particular that I know. Oh, you Nathan, you and I have some history with Steven Larson, the Going in Raw podcast. Because what's that? I was gonna say, what's that look for? I hope that's a good look.
It's a good look because it's been a while since I've listened to them, but no, that Steven Larson. I don't know if you guys ever will hear this, but you guys are amazing, and we love how you present your stuff.
Because when I first started listening to them, because everybody's so negative on the internet, they were like just two positive guys who are just cracking jokes and just saying, okay, how does this make sense? It's like, oh, the company wants to do this. I'm like, no. How does it make sense in the confines of the story? And they just make up weird, random theories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what I try to do. Because there's stuff I like, there's stuff I don't like, but I never try to be like angry or forceful about it. That's just, I don't know.
At the end of the day, it's exhausting more than anything else.
Yeah. I guess, would you say Anime America had the influence on us to an extent?
Yeah, especially at the beginning of when we were getting started. And I think they still, I mean, we have a similar format to them currently.
Yeah, we do. Except we don't have a mascot yet.
I can be the mascot. I can dress up somehow, and I can.
I was about to say, I'm sure we can find one roaming around space and time. I think we could find something like that.
I was gonna say, at the very least, I have connections to artist people. If you have a vision in mind, let me know. I can try to get you hooked up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what you got.
One second. Okay, here's my first idea. A bunny. How about that? Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what theirs looks like.
Okay, how about this? A butterfly. There we
You're trying to get us canceled. You're trying to get us some copyright. That is one thing I do worry about. I do worry about that someone's like, oh, Anime Egotists, let's use that name. And they're like, hey, we were here first, but they have like 20,000 subscribers, something like that. I'm like, let's change our name. We have like but we have like 3 people doing intros for us. I'm like, doesn't matter. Let's just change the name. Let's just move on.
Oh no, trust me, that's something that even I'm concerned about with my podcast. I've been looking into like trademarks, copyrights, LLC, stuff like that to at least protect it, to make sure that I don't get some like off-brand in China that, you know, is doing this stuff, highlighting Chinese artists, which I'd be okay with, but then they're the ones making the money off of it, not me. You know? I was about
to say, then again, I'm not sure anybody's trying to be us. I don't think anybody thinks this like these Anime Egotists guys, like, I really take inspiration. I'm like, why? We don't do anything all that special. Please look, check out some other content and get some inspiration from there, please.
Well, actually, now you bring that up, actually it's kind of leads me to my next question. What is kind of the inspiration for some of the content that you guys produce? What's sort of the creative process and like, okay, we want to make this kind of video, we want to make that kind of video.
You want this? Should I tag you in?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So, kind of our process is actually our planning sessions usually happen after we film on Saturdays. Usually, we usually stop recording, sit there, and talk, and if we go over any ideas we possibly have had over the week, and see if there's something that sounds interesting and we want to do, and then kind of for the inspiration of, again, Anime America and kind of Watch Mojo, the lists, ideas, kind of where we got ours from. We wanted to be able to state what we felt about these anime and what we thought of different arcs, themes, that sort of thing. So we kind of got the ideas, of course, from them. But again, we're trying to state our opinions and want to give what we felt about certain things.
Not to mention, we also, like, just to kind of add on to that, we kind of use like news or rumors that are coming out. Like like the video I did like a little bit ago, because they talked about Black Clover kind of going on hiatus for a while, and yeah, I'm still talking to my therapist about it, so we should just get the help when you need it. But there was also one of the biggest videos we ever did at the beginning was when people were talking about, oh, is Ash Ketchum going to be replaced? Heck, I remember you being in about 2 of those videos, Nathan.
Yeah.
And I remember I like doing those videos with just like one topic that we just talk about for however long we want to talk about for. Heck, people still find that video. I'm just like, it doesn't mean anything now. He's still here. He's not going away anytime soon.
He is never leaving.
I was about to say it wouldn't surprise me, but you can follow our video. You can look at our video for that part, but I'm not going to talk about it too much.
Not fair enough. Fair enough. I'll ask, what do you guys think is like the biggest challenge of running a channel like this? What's the biggest challenge for you guys?
I'll let you do this one because you do most of the uploading and all that.
Well, I was about to say, well, considering this is going up onto YouTube and other places, I can't say too much good or bad about YouTube. It's the best, but in all seriousness, sometimes I do feel like a couple things. One, I feel like me personally, I want to branch out and do other anime rather than just the main ones we talk about, because after a while that would get sort of repetitive, and it's just about finding the time and everything and getting your research right, because I have noticed a couple of times where I've written out exactly what I want to say, and then I go back and listen to the recording. I'm like, oh, I messed up. That information's wrong. I'll just like add a note saying, yeah, I messed up. My bad, and just a correction. But also, just I don't know. One of the things is just trying to be different, because a lot of the stuff we talk about has been talked about already. So people might be thinking, oh, well, why should I listen to what these guys have to say? Why should I listen to who these guys say what shows need a reboot or remake, or which characters in this show are underrated and stuff like that? But honestly, I haven't talked about this much, but I feel like Richard and I have a good dynamic with it, because he talks about, for example, a lot of the more popular shows out there, while I'll kind of talk about the shows that people don't really know as well, or just shows that people have completely forgotten about, just that sort of thing. I think we found a better way of it now than in the past, because in the past it was a little bit of a mess.
Fair enough. I want both of you guys' answer for this one. Considering the fact this is a conversation channel, I'll say, or something along the lines of that, how important is it for you guys to have these opinions out there, to talk about animes like you do, and to both celebrate it and critique it like you guys do? How important is it?
Do you want? I was about to say I can just go for this one. I guess for me, the thing is, as much as you love something, I never want to be the person who's like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing. This is the most amazing thing ever." Unless I'm just joking around with it or something like that. Because for me personally, if I see a show is perfect and nothing's wrong with it, something is very, very wrong. Because to me, like even some of the best cartoons and movies of all time have a couple of flaws here and there. So. And that's not me trying to say, oh, I'm going to nitpick just for the sake of nitpicking. It's like what Sonny Bridges said in that episode of Class of 3000. And the blues is when you sing about the bad times, so the good times seem even better. I list the stuff I don't like or the stuff I like to appreciate the aspects of the shows or whatnot that I do like. Or I just try and find the good in something bad, which is so much harder to do nowadays.
Yeah, no joke. And I appreciate the Class of 3000 reference, because in fact you both were part of the Joe Horn interview. I forgot to mention that as well. No, I don't think I'll have anything like that. I'll leave a link in the description below with the channel and whatnot. Richard, what about you? How important is it for you to talk and critique and celebrate animes like you do?
It's nice to be able to talk about it and just be able to state how I feel about different things. Again, I mean, this has really become a mainstream industry in the last 20 years. Before then, it was very much, if you watched anime, you were the biggest nerd because you had to go somewhere else to find it. You couldn't watch it on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. They only showed 1 or 2, and that was it. So this industry has really grown in the last few years, at least here in the United States. And I mean, for our generation, we were raised on it. So it's nice to be able to meet people who have the same mindset and talk with them about it, and get to know their opinions about different things. And so I think it's really important to get out there finally.
Okay. No, I mean, and obviously you guys aren't slowing down anytime soon. Was it? You guys upload what, at least once a week? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Once a week, sometimes twice a week. I like to do twice a week. Sometimes I do twice a week just in case. Like if like Richard texts me like, "Hey man, I'm helping my parents with something. Today's no good." I'm like, "That's fine. We have like another video waiting." Or sometimes it's a case of because something I want to do is record more stuff like individually, like just short term stuff, rather than like an hour of something, like maybe like 8 or 9 minutes of something. So sometimes I'll just work on that, and I'll just either stitch it together, or I'll talk to our I'll talk to our editor and just be like, "Hey, can you like do something with this?" And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, you don't have to be so nervous about it. I'm like, I know, but just like, just do your best. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah.
Aren't you the editor?
I mean,
I'm not
doing stuff here because I didn't even know we had someone else who was an editor. I thought Alex did everything.
Oh dang! Maybe I should have brought that up. Yeah, we have an occasional editor.
Wait, really?
Really?
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I didn't even realize that.
I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where I'll just contact them and I'll just say, hey, you do this one. It's one of those things where it's like he's just like every now and then just hit me up and I'll do it. But for like the podcast stuff, it's just me dragging and dropping stuff, so I can do that on my own.
Fair.
But like I said, for the shorter videos, I definitely want them doing it because copyright can be pretty nasty.
I can only imagine. What's the vision that you both have for this channel? Where would you like to see it go, and where would you like to see it grow?
Every single person on the planet is subscribed to us.
I mean,
every single person.
First channel to 7 billion subscribers.
That's right. Absolutely. No. I was about to say. In all seriousness, like, on the more selfish side, just to, I guess no, I take that back. On the more humble side, like, just like I've said, I've said to you guys before, like, if this becomes to the point where we're able to like pay our bills and stuff like that, and like eventually move out, like, this is my job. Like, I'm sticking with this because, I just have to stick with this. I'm like, well, I'm enjoying it. Richard's still alive. He hasn't been like kidnapped by luchadors or something like that. So we can keep doing this. Worst case scenario, we can just. You or I could just find somebody else and they could run the channel probably better than I ever could.
What about you, Richard? What do you hope to see with this channel?
I mean, yeah, it would be very nice to be able to make a living doing this, because then my job would literally be to sit around, watch anime, and then be able to expand my horizons and then make videos about why it's an amazing format.
I mean, that's kind of living the dream. That's something I kind of hope with the podcast, but I'm not banking on it. I mean, I'm sure.
And also, mentality. Yeah, in all seriousness, though, it just this is gonna sound a little cheesy, but just like knowing, like, people having some idea of who we are. Like, we don't need to be like as big as like some of the biggest like millions of subscribers, but like I think to the point where people look at us, and then look back for a second and like squint and they're like, oh yeah, they're. I've seen them every now and then. Just some semblance of a presence on the anime world.
Okay. I mean, like I said before, like, it'd be incredible to see you guys sort of grow and develop and make more content, especially make more sketches, considering the fact that the only sketch so far on the channel is an incredible one called the Anime Expo 2017.
Summit, mister. The Anime Summit,
oh, it's a Summit? My bad. I wrote down Expo for some reason. I thought this one was on the channel. Anyways, the Anime Summit 2017.
Can we skip this part, please?
No.
At least get some drinks in us first?
I mean, do you have something to put with that Powerade you're drinking right there? You got the vodka to go around?
I do not know.
Nah, Dad, I got an A beer. Okay. Anyways,
I was about to say we could do a drunk episode though. I think it would work out.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I'd love to do like a drunk episode whenever I finally decide to buckle down and make a Patreon for this podcast. I think that'd be great. But for the time being, let's talk about the Anime Summit 2017. Alex, I know you're the brainchild of this. How did this idea come to be for you?
okay, so I'm a big, and I'll get into this later with the future projects we have. Like, I'm a big fan of the idea that anime just, it doesn't necessarily come from the authors or anything. It just comes from a bunch of corporate suits and just people trying to make money and stuff like that. So I kind of thought to myself, what would it be like if a bunch of people just sat in a room and tried to think to ourselves, okay, how can we make anime interesting this year? What changes can we make? Who can we add? And just all this other stuff that would probably piss off the fan base in the long run rather than just the passion and drive that authors have. Like, no, just give it to a bunch of corporate suits and they'll figure it out, because that's working out real well so far in the world.
And I'll ask, I know how I got dragged into this. Richard, how did you get dragged into this idea?
Dragged?
Well, me and Alex were actual roommates, and I ended up creating the channel and all that originally, like going on and creating the account. So I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'm part of this. So here we go.
We talked about this in the car. I had you, and like, less short of jumping out of the car and tucking and rolling, you could have said no. You could have said no. This is on you, my friend.
For those who don't know, I will definitely leave a link in the description, because people need to see the greatness that is the Anime Summit 2017. I mean, you basically described it or whatnot, but for those who haven't seen it, how would you describe filming on the set and just the whole entire process of getting the video done?
All right. Well, first of all, sadly, Richard was like not feeling great the first day. I remember that you weren't feeling so hot the first day, and I was just like, we can just put it off till later. And you're like, no, just give me like an hour or something, and it will be good. Which worked perfectly because one of our cast members was late.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
I was fully rested after that hour and dressed before he arrived.
Yeah, and not to mention, I remember that was the day we were watching like the 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Super they released, and he still didn't show up until after that. But I didn't have, like, you know me as a director, Nathan. Like, I don't really care. I'm just like, okay, let's just do this. Act however you feel like it. We'll touch it up later, and we'll just film it as we go. So we all basically got in like suits and everything, except for Reese, who was, it was like purple pants, a blazer with no shirt.
Time out. I don't know if you remember this. First off, he didn't like. No. Okay, he had the purple pants. That was something that he brought, but the blazer was my blazer that I gave to him to use for it because he was going shirtless.
Oh, that's right. We had to talk about that. That's right. And one of my headbands, which now I think about it, I wear that every day at work. I'm glad I got that cleaned. But it was basically just us making asinine claims with stuff like, oh, we're gonna cancel Attack on Titan. Why? It's too dark it's too scary. Like, kids won't like it. So canceled. We're done. What about Pokemon? Just replace Ash or something like that. Which actually, now I think about it, was some long-term storytelling for our channel, but it was trust me, it was accidental. I promise that. And just other stuff like, oh, more mean girls in anime, because for some reason you people like that. Seriously, you people are messed up. I swear.
I remember the. What was it in the videos? Like, you're sitting there, it's like more tsundere girls or whatever the term is or whatnot. Such and such. Then you just look at the channel as we see like the transparent like images of some pass by. And then you're like, God, I hate you all.
I still do. And also, I remember the fight at the end where I had to slap you for that sound effect.
Right.
Which is in the bloopers video that's on our channel. It's like the second or third video on the channel.
But you realize what you forgot to emphasize was the fact that there was a whole entire second day of filming, but...
Second day? No. It was like an additional 3 or 4 days because Reese couldn't show up half the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then because he had a full beard and everything, the first day we felt, and then the second day it was just his mustache, and we're just like, you know, fine. That was the point when we were emphasizing like low quality. Who cares? No one's gonna watch this. And it has over like 100-something views. I'm like, well, I was wrong.
Oh my God, I still remember that fondly. And for me, someone who doesn't have that big of a viewership on anime as well, I love my little input of, look, we got to include more live action. People are loving the live action stuff.
Didn't you tell me you also use this like little short sketch in your like portfolio or something like that for one of your classes?
I use like some of the clips because especially the punches, you know, where we like turn the camera furiously with every single punch or whatnot. I was proud of that. I'm proud of that short. I know about you.
Looking back on it, the writing, the directing, like everything was solid. It's just like I don't know. It's one of the few. It's something we picked up on from being mass media majors, which. We can talk about that later in the podcast once things start to get real, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you want to start getting real, I mean, let's go ahead and start getting a little real with it. All right. I mean, come on. You know, we've got years working with together. You said you wanted to get real. So what did you want to get real about?
I was about to say, you told me at one point you wanted to get real. So I thought you would start us off with that, but
I'll do that towards the end whenever I start giving you guys your praise and stuff that I usually do for every single guest.
I was about to say we're getting praise. I never thought we'd get that, but it's just like I guess in my little thing, like I've emphasized before, we don't have a lot of subscribers, but we have some loyal ones, and just people commenting. One person even said at one point, just like, "Oh, back when I rewatched one of your other videos," I'm like, "Wait, what? Stop. First of all, you're subscribed to us. Second of all, you're watching our videos. Third of all, you're rewatching our videos. What are you doing with your life?" Like, I never thought to myself, because I do have another project going. That's my main project, but that I'm not here to talk about that. But like the fact that there are people who are actually asking for our stuff, and there are people who are talking to us about it. Because I like the idea that we get to be our own bosses. Because a couple people know. College was miserable for me. Outside of meeting you guys, college was one of the worst decisions I ever made. And I just, I understand the appeal of, majoring in mass media and everything like that, but, I just wanted to do my own stuff, and I never found myself able to do that. But the fact that I get to do that, and I get to do that with people I actually care about, it makes me happy. It's cool. I hope nobody from our school takes this the wrong way, because there's a chance. But just where I'm coming from, because it was a rough several years for me just doing all of that.
No, trust me, I understand. And there's times I've even looked back and I've thought about how rough school was for you and me, and for just the group at times, and for just about anyone that's been there. Let's be honest, college is not easy at all.
Yeah, it's not a picnic. I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm just saying, just think about it. Just think about it. Have some ideas. Just think about it, and that sort of thing. I don't know if Richard has anything he wants to any personal information he needs to divulge, like Social Security or something like that, which I already have. But just if you have anything, just go for it.
Do you want Nathan's new one? He just got it changed.
I already have it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Sebastian.
I don't think that's possible. Anyways, but Richard, do you have something you want to add in on this conversation?
I mean, I enjoyed college, I think, a little bit more than y'all did, it sounds like. I mean, again, it was really the best part was meeting y'all, but overall, I had a good time. The worst memory I have is the time I freaked out when the professor canceled all the assignments and made it look like I failed the class.
I remember that day. That was not a good day for you.
Yeah, he literally the practice stuff that wasn't supposed to be graded, he canceled, but it went into the grade book as zeros. So my grade went from an A- to an F.
I was about to say, would have thought that our friend Jabari almost dying twice would have been the worst thing that happened to us.
That's definitely up there.
But grades, whatever, fine.
Richard's fine. He doesn't care.
I was about to say his knees are in bad shape. It could happen any day, but no. But continue.
Oh goodness. No, I mean, I'm more in the camp of Alex and Richard, but that's not saying I didn't have good times in college. I just like we've all can agree on at this point, we've known each other for what, at least 5-6 years now, something like that.
I was about to say it's later this year.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. But either way, it's you guys are hands down my best friends, straight up, all the conversations that we have, and I I appreciate I appreciate you guys as friends, and part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on the podcast is, I wanted to see you guys grow. What you guys are doing right now, like, it's great. You're doing what you want. It's your passion. Like, you're letting that passion grow. Like, not everyone shares the same passion, and I totally get that. But the fact that you guys are going out there and providing more or less content that you guys want to create, more than, like, what you guys want to see in the world, like, that's why I made this podcast. I wanted to see people, like, talk about the behind the scenes stuff with art, because that's the thing I always appreciated. So to see you guys doing that as well with anime, like, that's why I wanted to bring you guys on, because I want to help. I want to see that grow, and I want you guys to know that I love what you guys are doing, and I want to see it develop more.
Yeah, likewise, man. And I don't get the chance to listen to this often, but it is a fun show. Oh, hopefully with some sponsorships every now and then.
I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too.
No, but it's ironic that you say that. Hey, I want you guys to talk about your passions, because there are fans who for who we love. We don't say that enough, but I do love our fans. Our fans are very nice, accepting people. But there's a couple of them who are like, I like the videos when you talk about the worst stuff in certain anime than the best stuff. I'm like, so people want us to hate our breaking point and just rant on why we hate certain things. And trust me, those videos are coming, because there's some stuff I gotta say. Hey, but like, I don't know. I find it kind of funny how people are just like, no. We want to see you guys explode. I'm just like, it's coming. It's coming. It's just a ticking time bomb at this point.
There we go. Well, I mean, since we're already kind of talking about it, let's go ahead and divulge into this little bit. Like I said, this is an art podcast, so we try to appreciate art. And anime, in my opinion, is definitely art. So what are some interesting opinions or some hot takes about anime that you guys would like to let the world know when it comes to, like, aesthetics or storytelling and such that you haven't already described on your channel?
Oh, that we haven't described on our channel. Oh, that's a different one. I guess one that I haven't talked about as much is as long as the stuff is good, I don't care how it's animated. Like, people see who like, oh, there's that frame just dropped. Oh, look at that one right there. Like, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, as long as it's still like good storytelling and all that, I won't notice. And then every now and then I notice it happening. I'm like, oh, that's what people mean. That's not good. But I'm not gonna not recommend the series just for that. Also, I think the 3 episodes rule is BS. Like, I think that's one of the craziest rules just in television and media and everything like that. Just, watch the 3 episodes and then just be done if you don't like it. I'm like, well, shows change a lot from episode 3 to the finale, or episode 3 to episode 70, or just something along those lines. I'm not saying keep watching it forever if you hate it, but I'm just saying I don't think 3 episodes is enough. I don't think 3 episodes is enough to judge something on, unless it's a 3-episode anime, but I don't know if there are too many of those out there. Normally, the lowest is like 4.
I was about to say, has there ever been a 3-episode anime like that?
Yeah, they're mostly like OVA seconds usually.
Like normally it's 12, which I would want that. I want someone to make an anime that's 3 episodes long, and everyone's just like, nope, 3-episode rule, so everybody ends up watching the show even if it's not all that good, and the author's just like, you watch my show, I win, I don't care at this point.
We already have your money, so screw it.
Oh, that's terrible. Which sucks, is I know being a manga person or I know they don't make the most amount of money. Like, they're just doing it because they love it. Anyways, your unpopular opinions. Go. Hopefully it's something.
I mean, I tend to agree. I can only think of one anime that I've watched where I noticed anything, and I still ended up watching this anime, and that was the Dragon Ball Super. The first few episodes of Dragon Ball Super had some rough anime. But
that was bad.
And normally, I mean, I think that's the only time on our channel we've actually discussed poor animation, was that set of episodes, really. And yet, it's still, we love the show overall, and would recommend anyone, especially if you've never you gave up after Dragon Ball Z or something, go back and watch this. This is made by Toriyama. It's amazing. It's worth a watch.
Not to mention, there are several anime that I think are like beautiful to look at. Like, wow, the art looks really nice. Like the right studio did it, and I think plot wise, it's just like, it's kind of a wet fart. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like it's not like I don't want to say specifics because I've ripped apart this anime so often, but I don't know. Oh, I'd rather have good storytelling or an interest or just something interesting rather than just good animation. I don't know. I know a lot of people are just like, no, that's not it. It's animation. I'm just like, well, it's my opinion.
Well, it's funny you actually bring that up because it actually leads into my next question. Obviously, we have like the hot takes, the unpopular opinions and stuff, but let's go to a little bit more of a positive. Like, I'll ask two questions for this one, but firstly, like I said, our anime. What is the most visually appealing? What is the most visually appealing anime that you guys have watched?
Ooh.
Oh. Okay, so it kind of depends because, like we've said, like for Dragon Ball Super, when it's just the characters running around talking and all that other stuff, I'm just like, okay, it's fine, it is what it is. But when the fight scenes get like super serious and all that other stuff, like towards the end of Super, it was beautiful. Like everybody completely forgot about the first two episodes where we could like see people's eyebrows coming off their heads or whatever was happening. Not to mention, and I've said this before, or Pokemon X, Y, and Z, the animation did not need to be that good for the last few episodes. It was getting ridiculous. I'm just like, how much money are they spending on this? I hope next season will be like this, and they're just like, nope, not happening. Also, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This anime, Nisekoi, I talked about before. I've been horrible to the show before, but its animation is stellar. It is beautiful to look at. It's very impressive. The plot itself, not so much, but it's pretty to look at.
Richard?
Yeah, when it comes to animation and looking beautiful, it really depends on what the anime is about. I mean, as Alex said, fighting anime usually have really poor animation for just kind of the slower moments and stuff. If they're just walking around, it's usually lower quality, and you can kind of tell. And then, but when you get to the actual fights, that's where those shine. Then you get other ones, of course. A lot of slice of life style animes usually have kind of a straight line where there's not really any improvement. There might be one episode, it's either the beach episode or the festival episode where they give the extra budget.
Or when they make the characters have ridiculous expressions on their faces, which happens like once an episode.
Yeah, so again, it kind of depends. I mean, there are really beautiful scenes in all different. It just depends on the anime. I really think I can't really think of a really good example of one that's, oh my god, this is what beautiful anime looks like. But
okay, no, that's fair enough. But this kind of goes hand in hand with my second question. Like I said, we talked about the most visually appealing, but what is the most aesthetically pleasing anime as well? Like, what is the most complete anime? Like, got all different aspects of it down, from amazing visuals, great plot, great acting on all aspects. What is the most aesthetically pleasing anime? Doesn't necessarily have to be the best anime, but just the most aesthetically pleasing.
Honestly, I already have an answer for this, and I don't even have to think about it that hard.
Okay.
Gintama has everything. Hey, the voice actor, because it's one of those shows where you could tell the voice actors are clearly having a fun time with the role, especially when they start bringing up the voice actors in the episode, which gets kind of weird, but still. Like, the voice acting's good, all the visuals are nice, the action is incredible along with the drama, but let's not forget, it's a comedic show. You will see somebody go into a vending machine to try and use it as a time machine, or somebody referencing Dragon Ball Z in one episode, and just, I don't know. It's one of those shows that you can't really explain the humor of. It's just one of those shows that I feel like everybody has to at least just sit down and watch a couple of episodes. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, just everything about it is like nearly perfect. There's some misses every now and then, but like that's with everything.
Richard, how about you?
Right now, one of the ones that I regret what I thought about it at first is Demon Slayer. So when I first heard of this, I was going to the Anime Weekend Atlanta in 2019, and it was getting shoved down our throats the entire weekend. It was.
Wonder what that's like.
And so I did not want to see it. I refused to watch it, and just, oh, it's there. It's not going to watch it. Earlier this year, I finally decided. I hadn't heard about it in a while, so I finally decided to watch it, and it is beautifully animated. I mean, almost the entire time, it's got a very unique look in a lot of scenes, and then so far it's telling a really interesting story. So it all kind of flows together, and the animation looks really good for the story that they're telling. So right now, that's probably one of my favorite anime.
Okay. No, those are both great answers. I'm gonna take your word for it more than anything else. I was gonna say, for me, I haven't watched that many. I haven't watched that much anime. But if I had to say one that I, at least right now, think is the most aesthetically pleasing, I have to go with Fooly Cooly, just because the visuals of that one are just absolutely amazing. The voice acting, the voice acting, you can tell that they're all in on it, and it's just, lots of, like, it's fun when it needs to be, and it's serious when it needs to be. So.
It's funny that you mentioned voice actors needing to be all in on something, because there's an anime out there that most people know by the name of Ghost Stories. Mm-hmm. The Japanese version, everybody hates. Like, everyone's bored by it. People aren't interested. Meanwhile, the English dub decided, you know what? Let's just ham it up. Let's just make this as ridiculous as possible. And it's that, to say the least. It's not boring, that's for sure. And even if something's bad, if it's at least interesting, and if it's at least interesting, I'll take it. Kind of like Nathan, when you and I were watching NXT season 3. Because is it good? Absolutely, absolutely not. But it is entertaining, to say the least.
It wasn't good, but everyone involved was just taking the piss out of it and was just having a blast with it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. I just even if like I said. Even if it's bad, I can enjoy it. If something's boring, then I can't say anything about it. Then I'm just like, what do we do with this? We talk about it for 5 minutes and we want to be done, but we have to keep going for the podcast. Like,
right.
All right, let's just stretch it out for 40. Let's just stretch it out for 40 more minutes. Let's see what we can do.
Well, I mean, why don't you guys have like a compilation video of like the most boring animes out there? That could at least get you 15 minutes?
Oh, Jesus! I have to go back and rewatch so much stuff.
You don't have
boring anime. Most of the time, I give up on the boring ones.
Okay. Well, now's the time for a little bit of fun. All right, Alex, you've watched the podcast before. I think you might know what I'm about to talk about. I hope you have. Let's say I'm Big Shot Executive, aka Mr. Moneybags. All right. Let's say I come to you guys and I'm like, look, I love the content you guys are creating. It's incredible to see what you have. I have connections to everyone and anyone out here in the world when it comes to anime, animation, you name it, I got it. What would be the dream project for you guys? Or, if given the opportunity, since you guys want to talk about anime so much, what would be the dream anime for you guys to create?
I feel like we've talked about this like on our channel, we've talked about this quite a bit. So I think we both have the same answer. If not, cut this part because I don't want to look foolish, but that's already been happening. Richard, do you want to take this one?
No, I'll let you go first. I want you to have some suspense.
Okay. So just we can talk about future projects later, but this is one of those ones because with this hypothetical idea, I want to think of something that is like incredibly unlikely of happening, but like we could still think about it. Like one of the things that we talk about a lot is, no shock, Pokemon. We keep telling people, please stop letting us talk about Pokemon. Please recommend something else. People are like, no, we like this. I'm like, okay, let's keep going. One of the things we always talk about is because we grew up on the games. We love the games. We love the story from that. But the game characters just don't show up. They're just doing their own thing. They're just not canon or whatever. So we've always talked about what if they asked us, hey, story-wise, what would you do for this character? Would he be a villain, a rival, or just the main character, him or herself or their self, however? or just that sort of thing, just story wise. And we always joke like, hey, what if they ask us to voice it? Like, how good would that be? And Richard would always be like, not very good. I'm like, yeah, but it's like our idea. Like, hype it up. Come on. So just hype it. Just be voicing our favorite characters and just. I don't know, when you say connections to everyone and like anyone, like that, to me that would also be amazing. But just to get real for like a quick second, and I'll just drop it. Just with anime, like just the past few years, there have been a lot of people who've been revealed to just be just toxic people, and like I would just want to be like, can we just, even if this person isn't that well known, can we like work with somebody who like isn't toxic and terrible, but just that sort of thing. But just basically our own like sort of slightly, I don't want to say more like mature, but like just a slightly more adult like Pokemon thing, like the manga and stuff like that.
I would say, Richard, is that basically the same line of thinking that you'd be having?
Actually, surprisingly, no. I mean, that does sound awesome to have our own Pokemon show, but it'd actually pretty much be a continuation of what we do now, but we could go into more depth. Like, if we were actually able to produce this and it's going on Funimation or Crunchyroll or something like that, where we're talking about anime, we can have the voice actors, the creators, and interviewing them and talking to them about this, kind of like what you do with with the Postmodern Art podcast, and getting to talk with them, find out what inspired them, going into detail, and then of course we could always do lists. So if we had like an hour-long show about just all this different things, I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about like people we could have on, but like I said, it's just figuring out who do we want on the channel, like, because who do we want on the channel, like who would represent, and us, well, what could we talk about? Because I feel like nowadays we're kind of stretching out into like different shows we watch. Like you watch some stuff, I watch others. So I'd want it to be somebody who we both have a little bit of knowledge of, so one of us just isn't completely doing the talking, because that could get weird.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. First off, like, you know, like Richard was talking about with what I do, all it really starts with is just going out and contacting the person. Trust me, I'm surprised with the people I've been able to get on this show. I really am. And all it starts with just a simple email. So if there's someone that you guys just want to talk about, shoot your shot, guys. Seriously, like it blows your mind how many people would be so open to talk about the stuff that they love, especially if you want to talk to like a voice actor. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Alex, you kind of had her doing like an intro for the videos before. Why not talk to like the person who voiced Ash or something like that? You know, like that's something you guys need to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Veronica Taylor. First of all, I just want to take this time and say she is like the night. Like they say, don't meet your celebrity heroes. Like she is one of the nicest, like most amazing people ever. Like I almost just said, look, can you guys just adopt me or something, or just like so I can just be a part of this forever. She was very friendly. Her daughter's amazing. Great. Hey, like she's actually been somebody I've been wanting to like pull onto the show and just be like, and just kind of interview, and just because I don't just want it to be like just like, hey, what were your times on the show, like this or that, or just I'd also want to talk to her like about other like certain theories, like within reason, of course, or something like that.
Right.
Because like hopefully we get to talk about our future projects at some point, but there is some side questions we have just for one of the questions I've always wanted to ask people who come onto the show is like, okay, out of all the characters you voiced, who would be the best roommate to have and who would be the worst? And someone could just say, oh well, Ash Ketchum, he doesn't have any money, he doesn't seem to walk around with that much money, so he wouldn't pay for rent or something like that. just ridiculous silly stuff like that, or stuff like, hey, Ash Ketchum, did he have a problem? And people are like, what are you talking about? You know, a recycling problem. Did he forget to recycle it all? I'm like, oh, yeah. Just basic, ridiculous, silly stuff like that.
I just want to say real quick, I thought it was funny that you're like, you know, hey, Veronica Taylor, adopt me. I'm just thinking to myself, should be like Ash, like, all right, Alex Foster, I choose you. Throws a Pokeball at you, captures you. That's the adoption process.
and I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. Wait, what's going on? And I'm just stuck in the Pokeball. It's like that Robot Chicken episode where they're just like, wonder what happens inside of a Pokeball. And you just see the camera zoom in, and I'm just sitting there like, it's roomy, but like couch or something would be cool, but I don't know.
I say, or it could be like that the WB Kids like little bumper with that sock or whatnot, to where you get captured in a ball filled with more dirty socks.
Oh god, they're everywhere. Oh man, Kids WB was great.
It was. I mean, so you hinted at it a little bit, but what are some future projects that we should expect to see from the channel here in the short future?
Do you have any plans?
I mean, we as of right now, our plan is to continue kind of the content we're doing regularly. We've got a couple ideas, maybe doing like more direct reviews, but those are more individual because we watch such different anime individually. Just talking about what we've watched recently. We've talked about, again, skits, but again, we want to wait till we have a chance to either get together or can really set up a nice place to be able to do the skits that we want to do.
Yeah, of course. Not to mention, we have talked about like doing just more like Pokemon movie reviews, because there have been people clamoring for that on the channel, especially after the first one. But like you said, like a lot of shorter stuff, because the shorter stuff is like surprisingly popular. Like I want to say the Black Clover video I did on the Devil Believers arc was like I was expecting that to get like 40, 50 something views. It's almost at like 400 right now, and I'm just like, oh well, that's weird, but like I'm sure the like to dislike ratio is like 3 dislikes. I'm like, okay, 3 dislikes, that's fair. It's our content. And then I see it's like 11 likes. I'm like, what? What do you stop? What do you people do? And there are people commenting like, yeah, I like these short stuff. I like that you're talking about this. So I'm like, obviously shorter stuff for people who don't want to sit there for an hour and a half, whenever. But also, one of the things we were talking about is like an anime news segment, but not necessarily in the sense of, oh, well, this voice actress just got married to this voice actor, or just that sort of thing, but just basically talking about the characters like as they're like actual human beings and like tabloids and stuff like that. It's just like local boy Ash Ketchum turns 10 again. And that sort of thing. And it was like, what are the secrets to his immortality? We have him on. It's just somebody in a costume like oh yeah, it's just string beans.
Think of like TMZ, but for like the anime, if all the animes were connected in one world.
Yeah, like basically that, or just something like local Saiyan man destroys grocery mart, and it's just Goku there, but he has like all the meat, so everybody's just stuck buying vegetables and other stuff, and they're also disappointed.
I was getting C-rank superhero destroys city again. Mayor wondering why the funding's still going into it.
Although the insurance rates have gone up for this, just basic sort of things. And honestly, I've thought about, and this is where I get like a little bit of, oh, hello, dog. Anyways, this is where I get like a little bit of a reveal. There is one voice actor who I've actually said, like, can you record something for me in character as this character for an interview, for like a little interview? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I do have it on my phone. I just need us to start filming and stuff like that.
Get me on board with that stuff. I told you before. Just give me the heads up. I'm down for it.
Like I said, I'm waiting for things to. I'm ready, waiting for everybody to get shot. Get their shots. My bad.
Everyone to get. That's a bit dark.
That's a different process. That's a different process. I apologize. I want people to get their shots. I want us to be safe while we're doing this.
Right.
And I just want us to have a better idea of it, because it's still kind of in the beta stages. Like, we're still coming up with ideas for it. And obviously a bunch of us wearing ridiculous looking wigs, because that could help.
I already got my wig. It's right over here or something like that. I got it ready to go.
I can't do anything with this, so just live with it.
Well, maybe not with the dreads, but you can always wear like a longer beard or something like that.
Works for me.
There you go.
I'll just dye my hair a different color every video.
There you go. Well, I'll go ahead and ask this generic question. Where do you guys hope to see yourself, say, 5-10 years from now?
I'll go ahead and start with this one, I guess. I mean, again, the absolute dream would be that this channel actually blows up and we can make a living doing this and getting to watch anime, talk about it, getting the chance to expand the content. Is that realistic? I really don't know, because I have seen people make a living doing this. So
we'll have to start. We'll have to get on Twitch.
That might be the issue. just our channels, our videos playing in like 24-hour segments.
Hey, some of our fans are loyal enough that they would stick around for that, and I appreciate that.
There we go. And what about you, Alex?
Honestly, like on top of that, but just kind of just like a place where people can come where even if they don't agree with it, like people, even though we're the Anime Egotists, we're not really all that egotistical, but like it was the best name we could come up with at the point. But just kind of like a place where people can get like information, because when we talk about this stuff, we kind of try and cater it towards the way we explain it. We kind of try to cater it towards people who haven't really seen that much anime before and just that sort of thing. Like we'll explain things in detail, so admittedly sometimes a bit too long, but still, well, and just sort of a place where like beginners and like advanced people can come for it. Also, just like because I don't want to like back to like just for a future video. Like I've always kind of like juggled the idea of like just because people love cosplaying as anime characters, but like a lot of people say, oh well, if you're a black person, you can't cosplay as this character, which is total bullcrap. I'd like to have black cosplayers on and just talk about their experiences and just like how we can just like basically put an end to this, because it makes no sense. People are so upset about that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
so just an idea of like people can come to the channel for occasional serious stuff, but then for the most part, just seeing us act like idiots over the newest Yu-Gi-Oh summoning mechanic or whatever we're talking about.
There we go. There we go.
Seriously, what is pendulum summoning? I don't know. Maximum summoning, whatever it is. Maximum summoning.
What, Richard?
What's up?
There's link summoning now. I have no idea how it works.
I think it's you use your no, dude. It's when you use like the Game Boy link cable, and you just plug it. You plug it into your dual disc. You just do that. It's simple. My Game Boy.
It's a USB connection.
Just pull out a hard drive. Wait, give it a minute. It's updating. Hold on, just
God, software update, really?
2 hours and 47 minutes. Well, we have like 3 episodes left. It'll be fun.
There we go. As we're winding down, because great answer, and I hope to see that growth as much as you guys do. But as we're winding down, I have one last question I want to ask. Obviously, anime is considered by many to be an art form, and it really should be. How important is art, not just for you guys, but for the world as a whole?
Art is expression, dude. Like art, like there are a lot of people I know don't really like talking about like the personal stuff they're going through, and that's fine. Although to an extent, I think people should be, men in particular, should be allowed to talk about. Like we shouldn't shun them for that, but like a lot of people express what they're going through their art. Like a lot of people will tell me like, man, I had like a craptastic day at work or school or something like that. And they'll just go out and like watch their favorite anime or like make fan art or something like that. And that like gives them comfort. So I think art in particular, especially to anime fans with all the crazy, cool, at times kind of disturbing artwork out there, like it does a lot of good for some people. Just I don't know. It's a good way to reach out and just comfort.
Richard, how about you?
I mean, I can completely agree with that. And then, I mean, anime for a lot of people is an escape from a world that isn't perfect. It's a chance to visit a world that I mean, all art does this, I'm sure, to some people, but specifically anime, it's an escape. It allows you to go into this new world. You can view these powers or people living different lives. And some people say that you can get lost in anime. But some people need this, and it can be therapeutic to be able to visit these other types of worlds and get to know these characters and kind of grow through them.
Not to mention, it's kind of enlightening since a lot of anime do take place in Japan. You learn like a lot of different stuff about like the cultures and stuff like that. The schools, sadly, a lot of the stuff we learn through anime can be a bit like on the different side. Like you learn, oh no, that's not actually how that works. But like through anime, you can learn some interesting stuff. Like Like, for example, one of the things I tell people all the time, Valentine's Day is very different in Japan than it is in America. In America, it's just kind of like a lot of people will complain. It's like, oh, well, you just get the girl something and don't really worry about that. In Japan, it's on February 14th, the girl gives the guy chocolates, whether it's their friends, family, lovers, anything like that. But then the next month, the guy will repay it. And apparently the month after that is like gray day. It's like just for all single people like get chocolate, like eat chocolate, which I'm like, sounds perfect. Why aren't we doing that here? Why isn't there just a day where single people just get chocolate for like 75% off, something like that? I don't know.
I will say to go on that point, I mean, like you were kind of emphasizing, like, yeah, you do learn a lot, but it's kind of like if international people watch like an American show or American animation, it's going to be sort of a hyped up, romanticized version of what it can be. So, I mean, it's not that it's all completely false, it's just not all that it's cracked up to be. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, you kind of like that. I don't want a show that's exactly like the real world. I want something ridiculous. I want to watch a show where people are eating delicious meals and their clothes are flying off. I want to watch something where when somebody slashes a sword instead of just cutting a tree, it cuts through a dimension or something like that. I like ridiculous stuff. I like when shows acknowledge, hey, audience, we see you there. Thanks for supporting us. No, we're not giving you any money, but just like, thanks for the support or whatever.
Goodness. Well, with that, that's all the questions I have for you guys. I know I've already showered you guys with a lot of praise before, but I'm gonna do some more because it's my show. I do what I want. I know that we have, we've already established how much that, you guys mean a lot to me. You really do. Like, you guys are legitimately the best friends I could ever ask for. And seeing you guys like go forth on this path of just talking about what you love and talking about your passion and such, like, it inspires me to see more people like that. And I hope that people see that inspiration, people see that passion, people see that love that you put into this, and I hope that they appreciate it as much as I do, and I hope that they jump on board and they support it, because you guys deserve it and then some. Like, it's not easy to put your opinion out there online nowadays. It's really hard. So the fact that you guys are willing to do that, but also create this incredible safe space for people. Oh, hey, dog. But for people to see this incredible safe space for anime and to just show that love, and hopefully to see it grow more to where you get incredible people to talk to, and you see these incredible stories, and hopefully people will take note and make incredible stories out of what you guys do. It gives me hope. I'll be rooting for you guys every single step of the way. So thank you guys.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, it's weird that we think about stuff like this because a friend of ours, a mutual friend of all of ours, Jay, so he has Jogger Joe. Go check it out, please. Like,
he's been on the podcast before. He was part of the Joe Horn episode.
Sure, okay. But, like, he's kind of like the first person to say, like, yeah, like, I just have a YouTube channel where he just did gaming sort of stuff. I'm like, that sounds cool. I'm not really sure gaming in particular, although we've had plenty of gaming discussions and they're the most fun part, but I kind of thought we could just all kind of thought to ourselves, like, let's just do our own thing. Let's find a way. Like, the Anime Egotists is mainly me and Richard, but it's all of us. Everybody has a little bit of an anime fan and a little bit of an asshole inside all of us that we can bring out.
Yeah.
a little bit, not too much. Not like obviously just don't go overboard with it, but like we can be a little smug about it while acknowledging what are we doing. While acknowledging we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and thinking about it, I mean, of course, you brought up Jugger Joe. Nathan, from what I've seen, you've done an amazing job with this podcast. And aren't you on, what was it, What the Wrestling? Is that the other one you do?
Is it? I mean this in the nicest way possible, but is that a thing? Is that still a thing?
If it is, Jay's doing it on his own time. That's his own little baby, and I'm letting him take care of that. As much as I love that, especially with my job now to where I work night shift and I can't really sit down and watch wrestling, it's hard for me to really keep up and give a good, accurate opinion on it. So I'm letting him kind of do that as he does it. But he's also got a million other things he's got to focus on as well, especially his job, which, hey, Jay, I know you're probably listening to this. We're rooting for you, man. We love you. Keep up the awesome work.
We do, but if you trip and fall, I will help you up after I'm done laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all of our cases. But yeah, no, it's one of those, like I said before, I really do hope that you guys like get a chance to see her. I know, we joke about it. It's all hypotheticals, but like seriously, I mean, you guys having fun with this stuff. I want everyone else to have some fun with this stuff. So.
Yeah, not like, and we hope you make it too, because like I like reaching out to other people, like say, like sure, it costs money because you should support people with money and not, hey, shit, I'll give you a shout out or some crap like that. But like, I like that we all like we get the chance, like, hey, can you do this logo for us? Can you do this intro song? Like, heck, we have an actual intro right now. That's not just besides the whole, hey, Anime Egotists have opinions, so don't get upset in the comments or something like that. Like, we have an actual animated style intro for us. Like, it's weird that without all of that, without this channel, like, we never would have met a lot of these like really cool people, talented people, far more talented at drawing than me, who like I drew a stick figure once and everyone just said, what is that? It's like, oh, it's me. It's just like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I know how to draw. Do you? No. Shut up.
I drew an actual stick once. People actually appreciated it.
Yeah. Like it's also fascinating because I also don't want to be, because we've talked before about like just wanting to be like paid for this and just that sort of thing. I don't want to be the person who just like like we're kind of casual. We don't want to shove it down people's throats, because I'm not going to say names, but there are YouTubers who are like, hey, tweet at this anime, tweet at Bandai Namco so they see my ideas. I'm like, if they see our ideas, they see our ideas. I don't want like these companies looking at us and be like, oh, great, their fans are tweeting at us again. You see, this is why we stick to corporate stuff. Although the anime summit was nice though, so
there we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead and plug yourselves for the people back at home.
You go first, buddy.
You can catch me on the Anime Egotists on YouTube. That's about it.
Yep, just follow me on Anime Egotists by Twitter. Oh god, I do have a Twitter, but I'm on Twitter every day, but I just rarely use it. I'm sure Nathan can put it somewhere, at RafiBomb316. Also, leave my fan fiction alone. You can find my fan fiction. I'll tell you all about it. But until then, it's mine. It's that's not what we're here to talk about. Even though it's very popular, like thousands of views and stuff like that. It's weird.
Goodness. Do you guys have any final words before we sign off?
No, not really.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. That's a good thing to end on.
Yeah, and just be egotist. Have a little bit of an ego, but still do your best to love people, because like the world's pretty craptastic right now. But just find a way to settle down. Like, you don't bust your ass too much over it. Find a way to relax. Maybe with us, and you can find people who are just as messed up as you.
And there we go. With that, all I have left to say is hasta luego, mi amigas.